Know Your Tenant Rights, presented by South of Market Community Action Network and West Bay Filipino Multi-Service Center. There's a housing crisis in San Francisco and a lot of people are feeling it. Some of the hardest hit are renters who are being sued, evicted, or harassed by landlords or experiencing rent increases. If you're a tenant in San Francisco, you need to know your rights. How can a landlord legally evict me?
It is important for you to know that an eviction is a legal process. Just because your landlord told you something face-to-face or texted you or emailed you saying that you have to leave, you do not have to leave. The landlord must evict you in writing. When you get an eviction notice or you are told you're being evicted, you should seek tenant counseling. Don't leave your place. Keep paying your rent. If your landlord does give you a legal notice, then you need to get help right away. If you get a 3-day or 30-day or 60-day notice, go to SOMCAN right away. We might be able to help you respond to your landlord to correct the issue. If you get an unlawful detainer, then contact Eviction Defense Collaborative right away. EDC has services that are free and they have lawyers that can get you the help you need right away. If your building is under rent control, you can only be evicted for just cause. You can be evicted for not paying your rent or always paying your rent late. You cannot be evicted or sued for violating house rules such as hanging laundry, leaving your shoes outside your door, or other minor lease infractions. The landlord must offer a way to correct or cure minor lease infractions. A landlord can also evict by using the Ellis Act or if an owner wants to move into your unit. If you get an eviction notice or threatened with eviction, you need to seek counseling immediately.
What should I do if the landlord is trying to buy me out?
If the landlord is offering you money to leave, you don't have to accept the payment. Think about the rent you'll have to pay when you move out. The landlord's offer must be registered with the rent board. Don't sign contracts or accept money without getting help.
How much can my rent go up?
All buildings built before June 1979 are covered under rent control. There are some exceptions like single-family homes. In San Francisco, rent control means that your landlord can only raise your rent a limited amount every year. This amount is determined by the City of San Francisco through the rent board and not your landlord. If the building you live in was built after 1979, then you're not covered under rent control. So the landlord can raise your rent as much as they want as long as this is in your lease. But landlords must file the right paperwork before they can even do this. Make sure they did the paperwork before you agree to a rent increase.
Am I a legal tenant?
You are a tenant as soon as you live in a place for 30 days and you pay rent. You don't need a lease or rental agreements to gain tenancy, but it's always better to have a lease so you have something in writing that proves you're a tenant. It's best to pay your rent by check. If you ever pay in cash, make sure you get a receipt from the landlord. For additional roommates, you can ask your landlord if it's okay. You must do this in writing.
What if I need repairs?
Landlords are responsible for repairs to your apartment or house. For example, if you have a leaking roof, your heat isn't working, or you have a rodent problem, the landlord must fix these issues. If these problems aren't being fixed, make sure you write a letter to the landlord. You should contact us for help.
Where can I go for help? It's important for you to know your rights as a tenant. These are basic rules, but every situation is different. It can get complicated. Don't sign any papers until you've consulted a lawyer or community organization. Call or email SOMCAN about tenant issues. Because eviction and housing issues are extremely stressful, contact West Bay Filipino Multi-Service Center for help with counseling. You're not alone. SOMCAN and West Bay Filipino are community organizations based in the South of Market.